Welcome to episode 341 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name is John, and I am joined by Ryan.
Hey, everybody, here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and we capture hearts in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
And I'll screw it up and say that we're going to catch them all in Pokémon XD Gale of Darkness this week.
Yeah,
all good stuff. We'll get to that in our Inflation Deflation. But Ryan, what else are we talking about today?
Yeah, so we're going to start off. Is it worth it to buy into Switch 2 sooner rather than later? Then Apple's looking for their last lifeline to maintain their monopoly. And then, yep, we're going to wrap everything up with that inflation deflation, John.
I feel like you could have put in a Monopoly joke in with the Monopoly, right? Could have? Yeah.
The little monocle.
Yeah, something like that.
A top hat. Actually, I have a top hat somewhere. Nah, it's a frosty hat. It's not a top hat.
Oh, well, yeah, that's not the same as, what is it, Moneybags? I don't know his name. Mr. Monopoly Man?
I think it's Mr. Monopoly.
Is it Mr. Monopoly? Yeah, it's been a long time. My wife won't play Monopoly with me. She fears that it'll bring out the worst in me, and she's probably right. Yeah. If anyone has seen me play Catan, Monopoly's 10 times worse. Dude, I'll mortgage every property I can. Just take control of board. It's great. All right. Well, before we get into our episode here any further, you can find us on the GameDeflators.com. You can also find us on social media at Game Deflators on X, at The Game Deflators on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and Blue Sky. We're on YouTube. Hit the little bell so you know we're on. Subscribe, comment, always appreciated. And then, of course, we are on all the great podcast applications out there. If we're not on one, you let us know. We'll be on there anyways. And then you can leave a 5-star review, possibly 10, multiple 5-star reviews. Always appreciate that too. All right, Ryan, let's get into pickups. There's a lot this week.
Yeah, you brought out like a handful of stuff, which makes up for my usual nothing. Spoiler alert.
There you go. All right, so I'm going to bring in this first one. Well, it's kind of not a pickup. I kind of spoiled it, but I ended up getting Neva recently. So really happy about that. I never thought I would get it. So that's my first one. The next thing I got is my Verdant Catacombs for Magic came in to go with my commander deck. Yes, very nice. Very nice. We'll put that on there. All right. We got an Umber Hulk mini. So
okay.
Pick that up. Yeah.
Why? Anything I should be worried about?
No, actually not. I got it. Yeah, they just look pretty cool, and I figure at some point I might use them. Probably not the Umber Hulk. We'll see. I got an Alip and Deathlock mini. In fact, I got 2 of those. So
double Deathlock.
Just beware on that one. We got a...
Yeah, I don't even know what those are.
Yeah. We got a Gorillon, which is this guy.
Oh, I think I've seen that before. That looks like...
I'm just going to start throwing these on the floor, actually.
Something from like Halo.
All right, we're just going to throw them on the floor.
Not quite a brute, but it could be there.
We got a Banderhob. So Banderhob.
I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a frog dude?
Yeah, well, there you go.
With human teeth?
There's your hint. Okay. We got a Nikoloth. This guy right here.
Nikoloth. Some kind of demon guy. Classic. Yeah. He looks like a gargoyle.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
What's the big one? I don't remember.
There's a lot of them. I bought the demons box a long time ago, so I have a lot of demons and devils. And then we got 2 crocodiles.
Nice.
Yeah, these are pretty cool because you can actually...
It reminds you of Florida?
Well, no, but yeah, I guess. You can actually... it has a clear base here, or top.
So you can do that water effect?
Yeah, you can do a water effect on it, or green water, whatever you want. So 2 of those came in.
Cool.
Put those in the grounds. Got some paints. So we've got a refill of Mithril color. We've got, because I didn't have a good skin color, I got Pearl Skin. I got like every other skin color, but I didn't have like a pearly type. Replacement for brown because I needed some brown paint. We got Cultist Purple. Yeah, I love the names on some of these.
The purple cult.
Then we got Opal Skin was the other one. So yeah, that's the pickups this week. It was quite a lot, but basically is it Gamers Guild? Yeah, Gamers Guild AZ. They had a bunch of stuff on clearance with the minis. So like some of those minis would normally cost like $4 or $5, and I got them for $2 a piece.
Did you actually go over there, or did you order it?
No, God, no. I just ordered. Dude, it's like same day shipping. So like I ordered it on Sunday and it arrived on Monday.
I love that place. Have you been there actually in person?
I've been in the one in Tempe in person. It's pretty cool. I know the one in Phoenix is pretty huge. So yeah, I mean, I always just order off their website, and I don't know if they do their own distribution and stuff now, or they're a distributor as well, and that's why their prices are cheaper. But like those paints for like 350 to 298 a bottle. Most places 450, so it's always like $1 cheaper, which is good. Shipping is pretty reasonable for something like that. Like between those paints and all those minis, I paid like $7 shipping, and then all the minis were on sale. So like the Nikoloff and the Gorillion and the Banner Hob were all $5 a piece, and are normally like a $7 mini roughly. So I figured why not, right? You know how it is, man. You see a couple clear. So I saw like one, and I'm like, oh, I'll click that one, and then
then it
they
opens
add
the
to,
floodgates.
then it opens the floodgates. They add to cart, and it's like, oh, you forgot this one. I'm like, oh, well, that actually looks pretty cool. Let me add that. And next thing
he
you know,
needs
you
a
spent,
friend.
yeah.
You
Next
can't
thing
just
you know,
have one mini.
I'm just sitting there like watching TV with my wife, and next thing you know, I'm like, well, that's $75 in minis and paint. Okay, so
Order now.
yeah, I ended up dropping it down to about 60 with the shipping. But yeah, totally worth it. I mean, part of it's like I know I could 3D print and get that done, which I still will. There was a number of them that I
Didn't you
looked
just
at.
buy a new 3D printer?
It doesn't come until July, and it is a
Mhm.
filament-based printer, so I would not use it for minis unless I was like making very large dragons and such. And that particular printer, it's pretty cool. It's got like a vibrating base to it and a self-heating base, and like the nozzle on it's like self-adjusts and such. Basically, oh, and it actually has a camera on the inside, so you can see progress and do like time
Oh,
stops
cool.
or yeah, timestamps. So I guess when I start using it, I'll put stuff on YouTube. But yeah, basically it smooths it out. So like when we see these dice towers and stuff at these conventions, they kind of have that rough texture to them,
Yeah.
like that they need to be sanded. This minimizes that like tremendously because
Oh,
it like
wow.
vibrate. Yeah, so it doesn't require, if it does require sanding, it's not to the same extreme as some of the other printers and markets. So it's
Technology's moving forward.
yeah, it's a Carbon Centauri, I think.
So what kind of stuff did you get it for printing? Like big dragons and stuff, or?
I got it because everybody keeps asking me to make dice towers and larger objects. Like Joel, for example, asked me recently, "Hey, can you make me some Ninja Turtles?" And they're like the size of pop figures. I'm like, dude, it's a resin printer. I'm gonna go through so much resin. It's gonna take like 6 hours. Where if I just get a fairly large, like 19 by 19, I think. So like if I have that big of a printer base, I can make 4 of them and just set it and forget it, versus having to go refill my resin. And if the resin, for whatever reason, is not at a certain point in the middle of that and I forget to fill it, that's it. Like it's screwed.
Mhm.
You got to go in, pause it, add resin, and then continue it. So there's that. But like with a filament, it has like a sensor that's basically says, hey, you're running out of resin or you're running out of filament. And it's connected to Wi-Fi, and such. So I would imagine I can connect it to my phone to let me know what's happening. I can check in real time on a camera to be able to see what's happening with my prints. And, if it's failing, I'd be like, oh crap, it's failing. Let me go ahead and, remove it from the table.
Sounds
So
super cool, dude.
yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. It was $300. So that's the
That
pre-order
sounds like a
price.
pretty good deal, dude.
Yeah, dude. I was looking at other 3D printers that were very similar, and they were in the $600 and $800 range, like for some of the same bells and whistles. So $300, I think shipping was 30, and it's a pre-order. So I imagine that is going to go up in price pretty soon.
Okay.
And then I was looking at filament prices, and they're pretty good right now. I think a lot of that's because it hasn't been affected by tariffs yet, which we'll get into in a little bit here. But I want to say the filament I'm looking at is made in Korea. So it shouldn't be to the same extreme as if it was filament from China.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but all good stuff. So I will look to print like dice towers for people, dice jail, all the big fun stuff that we've always talked about printing and just never did print because of that resin-based printer. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So like I said, to go kind of back to how we got on that, I could theoretically print a lot of these minis, and there were some that were in my cart, and I just said, I can print this one. But then there's some that, like the A-lip, for example, it's all clear. Could I print it? Yes. But then I look at all the little ghostly figures and shapes and things like kind of coming out of it. It's like, well, I've printed stuff like that, and while I can do it, it's not ideal because you have to clip off the base and supports and things like that. You run the risk of damaging it. It's never as clear as like something like that because there's a whole different type of curing process with clear resin where you have to like cure it and then you have to hit it with like an anti-gloss varnish and other stuff. It's just not ideal.
There's a lot of work to do.
I would much rather just buy clear resin minis and then print like just standard, minis with no issue. I'll do, clear resin. I have some, but it's not my favorite thing to do. So, yeah. So those are all my pickups, and I think you have no pickups.
Yep.
Right.
Nothing there.
All right. And then video games I'm playing Fantasian still. Didn't get too far into it. I'm currently stuck on a boss. So I'm in the Zinniker story, and his sister, because Zinniker is he was actually a god named Tauros in the game.
And he ended to Zinniker?
No, he became human, and then he's Zinniker now. Zinniker. And
what a name.
What a name, I know. And so his sister is Yim. She's a god, but it's like the shadow of Yim. And it's a pain in the ass. So
wait, her name went from being the shadow of Yim to just Yim?
No.
And he went to Zinnik?
No, her name is Yim, but the boss battle is Shadow of Yim because it's not actually Yim. It's like a shadow of her, which is funny because she's pure white. So she's really not a shadow.
White shadow.
The white shadow. So from what I understand is if I complete this, it opens up an entire other area where leveling up, like grinding out levels, is far easier than anywhere else in the game.
Like a calm lands kind of area?
Yeah, kind of. So that's kind of how I understand it. I forget the name of it.
So you're kind of like, I don't know, usually in a game that's like 80% way through the game or something. Once you kind of get to that one where it's like, all right, now you can just kind of like level up and get ready to head to the final area and kind of you can backtrack now if you want.
Well, it's funny is there's another character in the game that I've come across a couple times, but he hasn't joined my party yet. And so apparently I could finish a game without him even joining, but he's super strong. Okay. So I might have to look into that. But yeah, so I can get this like calm lands area like we're talking about, and I can level up pretty quickly. That's the idea. And then realistically beat the game after that. But it's been a pretty long week. I haven't had an opportunity to go too much further in my progression. So hopefully we get there pretty soon.
Nice.
And then I will probably play Castlevania and start Witcher right after. And I'm going to be cutting it close, dude. Luckily, I can sit in front of my computer for hours and have no issue. If I sit in front of a TV, I fall asleep. So like last night, I had some issues with a hard drive that I was messing with. I was trying to resolve the situation. This hard drive ended up dying on me.
Man, good thing you bought like 100 of them. Or whatever.
Yeah, I've got 4 of them.
You've got this like crazy hard drive backup toaster plugged into your computer now, and it's like you already lost one. Like, what foresight? I never thought this would actually be an issue, but you came through.
So I don't know what happened. So basically, I ended up returning the one that I had bought initially, and I bought a different one because it's a stronger system. And I figured, okay, stronger system, great for transferring files. It'll be much quicker. No big deal, right? Well, apparently this one's jacked up because it would not connect to my network appropriately. It continued to reset on me. It kept saying, oh, well, let's do your smart setup. I'm like, I smart set you up 5 times already. I don't know what's happening. In the middle of reformatting one of those hard drives, it didn't power off. It reset, locked me out, and would not let me log back in. And then when I tried to factory reset it, it wouldn't factory reset for me. So I will never buy another QNAP device ever.
Did you return that one?
So, well, here's the funny thing. So
did you tame it?
No. So this all happened within a week. So I purchased on Amazon. It was a like new version of it, right? It says tested all that. Obviously, I just checked to make sure power's on. I figured, okay, I'll take the risk. And if it doesn't work, then I'll go ahead and return it. So I called Amazon because it was missing the Ethernet cable and like several small things, like the keys to be able to unlock and lock it. So I called Amazon and said, hey, I saw it's like, like new, and it's missing like all these screws and everything else. Like nothing super important, but I'm missing the keys, which allows me to kind of lock and unlock it. And if my kid comes by and pops it open, well, now a hard drive gets popped open. So I'm like, can you guys give me a partial refund? Like, here's about how much it costs. And I'm like, well, we can't give you a partial refund, but send us a picture. So I sent him a picture of the box and everything. And I said, okay, yeah, we're just going to give you a full refund. It's like, okay. It was a $300 item. Like, normally $500.
Buy a second printer.
No, I'm actually, because that hard drive died, I'm just going to sell, on eBay and just say, hey, not sure if it was something that I was doing, but I could not get this to work appropriately for me. $200 takes it, and somebody will grab it, and then I'll take that and buy another recertified hard drive.
$200, like new.
Yeah, pretty much. So
powers on.
I do have 2 Western Digital Red hard drives that luckily I transferred all of my stuff to one of my Western Digital drives. And then I've got the Synology drive that I had returned in Newegg. I went to the UPS store today. I'm like, hey, I returned this yesterday. Is this still here in the store? And they're like, no, it just got picked up. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I ended up buying one off Amazon. It comes Monday. It's a new version or new copy of this. So unopened. I'm going to go ahead and get it reinstalled. And I'm just going to go back to square one. And then what I plan to do, several things I plan to do now is if I ever want to like stream movies or anything from my computer via any applications, I can just remote desktop from this computer if I need to. So, I'm figuring out ways that like I can get certain things onto my phone, right? Or if I wanted to access gaming and things separately. So I don't know. I'm trying to explore some different options, but grand scheme of things, I'll have a new NAS system in place again, really the same one I had. Hard drives reinstalled. I'm going to get another 14 terabyte because I had one, it died, and that'll be it. And so I will be backing up all my family.
Journey you've been on with this, dude.
Yeah, all my family photos, everything's going to get backed up accordingly. So like that's the core idea behind that, was like Game Deflators content to be backed up, and then I can access it at any point if I want to from that device. Family photos, of course, any videos that you and I have, important documentation. I'm going to, so if there's anybody that's really tech savvy, I am going to remove port forwarding so it can't be accessed outside of my home network. So there's a number of things that I'll be putting in place security wise as well, just to ensure it's, all my stuff is safe. So yeah, it's a journey, and it's one that I didn't think I was going to go on, and I am glad it's almost over on Monday, because once I get my Synology back up, I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to you and what you're playing.
So I have been playing more Clair Obscur, and so my wife and I were both playing, and I was playing on the computer. She was playing on the Xbox. I only have this through Game Pass. So basically we just like turned off the Wi-Fi on the Xbox so that we could both play at the same time.
That's smart.
So then we moved the Xbox to the living room. We're both technically playing on save file 1. So she boots it up, and I think I or her, one of us, clicked the like start from like the cloud.
Yeah.
And it just overwrote her whole file.
Oh, that sucks.
Yep. So we
was she ahead of you or behind you?
No, she was behind me. I'm like 18 hours in, and she was like, but that's with all the messing around and like trying to figure out where to go. Like we've both gotten very easily turned around in some of these areas more than once. So lots of like redoing fights and things. But so we just sat down, skipped the cutscenes, powered through, and got her all the way back up to I really want to be so light on spoilers on this game. There's just like not much I want to say.
Yeah, I will play it. Yeah.
So we got her back to the point that she was at, which was probably like 4.5, maybe 5 hours into the game. In just like one night, just kind of sitting there and just like power up and did it.
It's not bad.
And yeah, it was not too bad. And then, or actually we didn't get quite there. We got a lot of the way there, and then she finished up getting caught up the next day, or maybe after I went to bed. I think that's what it was. I think we got like quite a bit of the way there, and then I fell asleep, and she kept playing until like 1 or 2 in the morning and got all the way caught up.
Nice.
And so I played like a little bit more, and oh my gosh, dude. So this game, like without trying to be too spoilery or anything, like every time you think like, oh, the game just brings something else at you, and you're just like not prepared for how good this game continues to get. Like the story continues to ramp in such a like really good way. Like the music is still like, I'm listening to the music just like outside of the game, and I rarely listen to much music from games like outside of the game. So it's pretty good. Like somebody just walked into I was playing it at my desk at the office the other day, and they're like, I don't know what you're listening to, but I like that. And then the combat is still really good. Like I'm getting a lot more used to doing the counters and everything. So I'm getting a lot better at that. I'm having a lot more fun with the builds. So it's very akin to, it takes little bits and pieces from all different Final Fantasies. And I was playing Final Fantasy 9 like last year a bit, and I got almost to the end of that, but it has kind of a very similar kind of equipment um cycle to that, where it's like you're really actually very engaged in equipment management and skill management. It's not like a game where it's like, okay, every time you level up, you pick a thing, and then next time you get to a town, you buy a thing, and then when you level up, you equip a new thing. It's very much like, okay, this battle, you just finished up this. Now you can, go in and monkey with your build a little bit. And then, 2 or 3 battles later, oh, here's another, go back in. So it's like you really feel actively engaged in changing these builds and optimizing them and tweaking them here and there when you get little bits and pieces to change things with. And it's finally kind of starting to open up. I'm getting like enough bits and bobs to where I'm really able to kind of start to make use and turn these builds into more of a direction or another. Also, I'm getting more access to like the respec items that let you kind of undo all your first choices and be like, okay, now that I kind of know what's going on here, I actually want to go this way instead.
So Fantasian takes a very similar approach on like the respec, except there's no items necessary. You just go, I want a respec, and you hit open a certain menu, remove all the stuff that you had. It adds those points right back up, and
Yeah.
then you go back. So you could theoretically, based on a certain boss, determine, okay, I really need to have more defense, or I really need that particular spell
Yeah.
that's up here. Let me remove this whole part of his grid and go up to that section to get that particular item.
Yeah, some games are very generous with it and some games aren't. From what I was reading online, like you get certain very few items in this game. Like you don't even have like items that you use in battle. You have like 3 different Estus flask things. You've got like a health one, a revive one, and one that gives you like more ability points. And once you use them, you've got a long rest at like a camp to get them back and respawn all the enemies again. So it's like you only have those things that you can do in battle besides like attack, and the items that you get outside of that are just for like upgrading your character's points or upgrading your character's weapons and leveling them up. So, oh, and then the like respec things.
Yeah.
So eventually, like the respec things are kind of like the rare items. So you kind of like, people at high levels talk about like they grinded for a long time and they got this many recoats. And it's like, okay, wow, that's like a big ass haul. Like you got a bunch of like rare drops from these mobs or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a sweet game. She got caught up to where I am now, so we finally got to talk about it because I've been ahead of her for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to spoil anything. But to anybody out there who's played the game, we both just went swimming. So once you know about the swimming.
I was thinking somebody drowns in the game. That's the only thing I can think of, because you equated it to like Joel and golfing. So
yeah, well, no,
Last
just
of Us.
using it as code. It's like, I mean, the golfing incident in Last of Us is just like, what are you talking about? It's like, if you know. But I mean, this doesn't have quite that same implication, so it's not really like a spoiler in that same way.
Yeah. So I remember with Last of Us when my wife for the first time said, "Oh, let's go ahead and play Last of Us 2 after we finished 1 because she enjoyed 1 so much." I was like, "Man, I cannot wait until we go golfing in this game. Like it's one of the best scenes." And she's like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" I'm like, "Don't worry. Like we'll get there." She's like, "Something happens with golfing incidents, doesn't it?" I'm like, "Yeah, maybe. We'll get in there." One thing I'll note before we jump into our first part of our discussion here in regard to like what's happening in the market is with video games, when we record them, it's kind of cool because you know how my wife's similar boat, she'll fall asleep in the middle of playing games as well. So there's sometimes I have to get to a certain point, right, to be able to save or progress through a puzzle or a fight, and she's knocked out. So
She could
recently,
go back and watch.
she actually watched them recently. She's like, "I'll just rewatch what you played." I'm like, "That works for me." So
Nice.
on Tomb Raider, which we haven't played Tomb Raider a bit because we've been pretty busy and um,
Yeah,
we've been watching
we're in the
TV
same
recently.
boat. Like, we need to go back and play more South of Midnight,
Mhm.
but it's just like Clair Obscur, man. I
Yeah,
mean, both of those games are incredible. Like, this is gonna be such a good year for games, even though GTA 6 isn't coming out.
yeah,
It just kind of leaves more room for this year to breathe, and then GTA 6 can be the only game next year or whatever is gonna happen.
for sure. Um, well, I don't know why Steam just opened up on me over here in the corner. It's like
Buy games. Oh my god, dude. That's the crazy thing about having like being on PC now and just like, oh, like I was looking online the other day and it's just like, okay, Jalopy's $1.49. Like that's a game I'm very mildly interested in.
yeah.
But like for $1.50, how can I afford not to?
How could you go wrong? It could
Yeah,
go very
exactly. And there's
wrong.
just so many things out there, and it's like my friends already gifted me 2 games.
Yeah.
My buddy Tony gave me the Master Chief Collection and Helldivers 2, and it's like I've been dying to play Helldivers, and I still haven't because we haven't all sat down and played it. So that's going to be coming
Well,
up in the future for me,
that and
hopefully.
Clair Obscur.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Nice. All right, well, let's get into our discussion here. First thing is Nintendo could still raise the Switch 2 price. So this comes to us from Game Rant. And it's obviously pretty straightforward. It's based off of a post that came from Genki Japan. Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa says if tariffs change dramatically, they will have to raise the price of the Switch 2. At this time, the top priority is to quickly popularize the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware. If the assumptions regarding tariffs significantly or change significantly, we would like to
Show more.
show more. Where's it at? Quickly popular Switch
We would like
2.
to show more.
We would like to consider what price adjustments we should make and implement them after considering various factors. So those factors in the United States in particular are
If things change, we will think about it, and then we will change.
Cost of living is the big thing that they're factoring in, and their whole thing is, well, we don't want to raise the price because cost of living adjustments and things of that nature within the US right now probably aren't the best. So we feel that'll hurt sales. Well, they're sold out on Switch pre-orders. So I think
Yeah.
that's all they care about, right? They're going to have their money. I mean, how much of that is scalpers, though? We don't know yet, right?
Well,
So
it seems like from what I've heard, a lot of like sellers online have been trying to go back through and filter out some of those bot sales or anybody who ordered like multiple, like they're trying to really combat and get it down to one and try to verify things. So I think they're trying to do well, but I mean, yeah, no doubt there's going to be a ton out there. But I mean, at the same time, I guess if you're a scalper, you're going to be trying to get your hands on as many as you can while they're cheap, because
it's
you'll
going to
have
go up.
control of the market like once they start to jack up the price. But like if they jack up the price and nobody wants to buy a retail one, are they going to buy a more expensive one from a scalper? No. So I guess it'll be an interesting market. We'll have to see exactly what happens and how many people kind of ended up, getting away with a big haul, because it definitely happened. It just hopefully didn't happen as much.
Yeah, I mean, a few things on that. Like Sony and Microsoft have both increased the price or plan on increasing the price of their consoles. Outside of the US, the Switch 2 is actually a much higher US dollar rate than in the US. So it is actually cheaper than most
We're getting
countries in the United.
subsidized.
Yeah, in a sense, right? And I think that makes sense though, because of the population and the market out here. So you do kind of want to, like you said, subsidize by having other countries pay a little bit more to offset that loss by going into the US based on those tariffs. And I get it, right? Like if they increase the price to kind of cover that, they are going to get angry US consumers. And if that's the bulk of your, not bulk, but a huge part of, your consumer base, then yeah, you're going to be kind of screwed when it comes to sales. And
it's where all the podcasters are.
Yeah,
they'll be furious.
So yeah, I mean that's the bulk of it. I do see them raising the price at some point once adoption has kind of come into play. They're probably gonna hit a certain number, and at that point determine, hey, due to market conditions, we need to increase the price of a Nintendo Switch 2. It'll be happening at this time, and it'll create some sort of FOMO, which will get people to purchase more before the price increase. So I think that's what it is right now. They're saying these types of comments to boost the pre-orders and get as many consoles out the door as they can, increase momentum, and then we will either see a price increase right away or it'll happen a little bit down the road once more of the consoles are purchased. So
yeah, it's crazy to think we're so close now. Like I remember when this feeling kind of started to set in with the original Switch, because it was like, oh man, we've been talking about like the NX or the Switch for like 2 years. Like almost every other episode we've had an article or something, or we bring it up, or we read about it or watch something about it. And now it's like, after all this hype cycle, we're a month away from the Switch 2 launching, and I'm just excited to see it happen. Like, I'm definitely not going to be a day one person. I just moved. I got a lot of stuff going on right now and plenty of other games that I'm not playing. So I'm not sweating not having a, $500 Switch and a new Mario Kart day one. When I got my Switch, it was like I was at a GameStop and they had it. And I was like, that's the first one I've seen in the wild. I'm going to buy that right now. So it's like, I'll probably just do the same with the Switch 2. Like once I've got, the money ready and I'm just like feeling, at the store and I'm just like, oh, there it is. I'll just get it now. Like, I'm not going to sweat trying to go online, be like waiting in a line, any of that kind of stuff.
Well, and you had asked me before we start recording, like, hey, does this change your opinion on if it's a day one purchase and get on the pre-order train? And funny enough, there's one comment on this whole article, and the guy basically says, after the company president's remarks, though I might want to get on board with the pre-order train, basically saying like he was hoping that the price point would die or the price point would drop down after the hype died. Doesn't seem like that's the case. You would ask me if I would, kind of have the same reaction. No, because by the time I decided I want to get a Switch 2, if the price goes up $100, my salary on a monthly basis has probably gone up a couple $100 as well. So it doesn't really make a significant difference in terms of, for me financially, if I get it now or wait, right? Like it's $100. Like it's not going to be like a big deal. Assuming it's $100, obviously. I'm factoring in like a 25% increase. Gaming wise, similar deal, right? I am no stranger to picking up video games before a console releases. I did it for the PS5. Before I picked up my copy, I had pre-ordered several games that, were already out and had them ready to go on that console. Same thing with PS4. I purchased numerous PS4 games before I owned the PS4. If there's a good deal, I'll do it, right? But I'm not going to go out of my way to pick up a Switch 2 or pick up video games day one and stuff like It's not worth it to me. And like you said, so many other games in the backlog to play. No need to jump in on this day one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, that tune will change as my kid gets older, of course, and we have to have day one consoles. But yeah. All right. Let's move into your area, which pretty interesting. This is like a return from 5 years ago.
Yeah. So Apple asks U.S. appeals court to pause ruling in Epic Games case. So long time ago now, it feels like Epic decided to wage war against Apple, and they pulled Fortnite off of Apple and posted up their whole like campaign of like anti-Apple, and they were like ready to just blast them. And they took them to court about this like walled garden and how, you know, Apple charges all this money and they take a cut of all this money from everybody's sales. And basically Epic was like, they're buying our V-Bucks. They're just buying it on your phone. Like, why do you get that money? Like, what's going on here? How are you benefiting our customers by jacking up the price 30% here, essentially? And so they got pissed because they tried to be like, hey, go over here and buy your money instead. And so that's exactly what this whole court case was about. It was about letting the apps on the App Store be able to have their own links in those apps to send you somewhere else so that you could buy in-app purchases, hopefully for a better price, but at least eluding Apple's grasp at that money. And so turns out Apple really didn't do that. Like, they kind of dicked around and found out that the judge is not going to stand for that. And so now, after seeing that Apple has not really followed through and has kind of been wasting everybody's time instead of just doing the thing that they were ordered to do, judge said, no, you can't do that. And so they're actually trying to take like the company and an executive to possible criminal contempt investigation.
Yeah, they tried to circumvent the law that was, you know,
the
order that was brought up against them.
Yeah, Apple's kind of doing a last ditch effort here, so they're trying to seek an injunction to stop this from kind of happening and be like, but our business, our bajillion-dollar business, you're being mean to our business.
We're only the second largest company in the entire world.
Yeah, so it's just kind of one of those things where this is seemingly going to end sometime soon, because like this is really, there's not a lot else after this that they can do to try to fight this. So once that really goes through and that's kind of over, and then that starts to spill out over to, you know, like Android has to make, you know, that, and other platforms have to do that, you know, this will be kind of like in place for other places to have to follow suit. If Apple is doing it, everybody else is probably going to have to. So it could potentially open up, I don't know, you'd like to see it save people money, but like whales are going to be whales. Like, I don't think it's going to change the tens of thousands of dollars that people pay for, you know, their games on the mobile.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. If I'm a developer and I was paying Apple 30% of my total sales on there, then yeah, I have to increase my price on there to, you know, kind of support that like difference, right? However, as a developer, I could be like, well, due to market conditions, I need to increase my prices on my website by 30% now. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about the money, right? And these companies,
nobody ever wants to give money back.
No.
Except for Salad and Go. Salad and Go used to have a campaign where it was like, tell us you don't want forks and napkins and we won't give them to you, and we'll bring everything down like $1. And it worked.
I still get my forks and napkins from Salad.
They were like, we'll put chicken in everything for no extra cost.
There's
like,
that there's that lobster. Have you been to the Angie's Lobster? I think it is. They do a very similar
I've been there
thing
a couple times before I went.
Yeah, you just drive up and you're like, okay, I want my lobster, and I got like 2 people working in that whole thing, and you get your own napkins and forks and everything else. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, so yeah, we'll see what else happens in the saga of Apple and their misbehaving in the market. Not the end of it, I'm sure. But on to our inflation deflation, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. And I don't know, I'm saying XD, and there's probably some other way to say it.
It's so funny to me because it's just the face, like the face.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But it's got like a big like yellow XD on the cover. It's a pretty cool cover, actually. I like this one. As far as
it is an attractive cover.
It is. Yeah, I wish I had the manual. I don't, but I got.
Oh, you don't have a CIB?
Nope. I just got cover and game. But I do have, and you should look this up while I do the little intro piece here. I do have the GameCube, the Pokemon XD GameCube.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So I happened to like pull out the GameCube when, before when I was going to go ahead and play it. I'm like, oh shit, I have the XD GameCube. Cool. All right. So it was developed by Genius Sonority. It was published by the Pokemon Company and Nintendo. Designers included, let's see, Sui Hotate, Ryota Aomi, Koji Ono, Koichi Iwata, Kuniko Kobashi, Chichiru Sugaya. That's quite a lot of names you threw at me this week. It was released in October of 2005. It is a role-playing game, and it has a reception of 6 to 8 out of 10. Ryan, can you tell the people what Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is all about?
So, with the arrival of Shadow Pokémon, you protagonist your way through a Pokemon adventure. Aided by your Eevee and Professor Crane's own snag machine, you set off to rescue the professor from Cypher, along the way capturing and freeing the hearts of the Shadow Pokémon.
To call back to our intro, Capture Hearts.
Yeah, so basically, I didn't really realize this. I had been watching a little bit of a playthrough to kind of aid me in just, I don't know, being able to see more of the game, like I was kind of playing the beginning and then just kind of scrolling through to see a little bit more of what was going to happen. Cause like we only play these games for like an hour usually. And for like an RPG like this, I mean, it is Pokemon. So you're kind of getting a familiar experience. But man, this game is like the most GameCube game that's like an RPG. Like so many GameCube RPGs just have this like, I don't know, this look and feel. Like if you've ever played like Custom Robo, this feels like it's just like that same thing. It's like how all the RPGs on Game Boy were just like, they're all like this, and they just took that to the next level. But it's really fun to have a 3D Pokemon with kind of more of a story. You just really don't get a lot of that, especially at that era in Pokemon. This was like kind of a big departure, but I guess I didn't realize that this is a sequel to like Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah,
which I just thought Pokemon Coliseum was like the N64 one where it's just like you just battle Pokemon. I didn't realize there was even a story for the GameCube Pokemon Coliseum.
I think there's Pokemon Coliseum 1 and 2, right?
Maybe, I guess. I don't know. I just like after the N64 one, I just never really went back to those. I never played any other console Pokemon games, only the handhelds. Because I just figured they were all just, I don't know, different, and I just wasn't that into it. I'm not sure why I never got this. Like, seems like a cool game. I might go back and play more of it now.
You know what? I think there's a version that has the XD Gale of Darkness on it. Like,
I guess Shadow Pokemon were a thing in that Pokemon Coliseum. That was like kind of the long ago time that they're referring to at the beginning of this game. But basically, the bad guys have like hardened the hearts of Pokemon to make them just battling machines. So they're dark Pokemon, but you can't visually tell the difference between them.
Shadow Pokemon.
So use this. Well, they said they're like hearts are darkened or whatever. So like you've got to use this snag machine, which like lets you capture other people's Pokemon that are Shadow Pokemon so that you can purify them and free them. So it's just got a little bit different of a thing because like you only capture Pokemon, I think, in battle against other people with Pokemon. Like I don't think you capture wild Pokemon traditionally. There's like darkness moves, which are super effective against not darkness Pokemon or Shadow Pokemon, but not effective against Shadow Pokemon. So there's kind of like an extra kind of like typing thing there. Yeah, and like many, I don't know why Eevee is kind of this like, you know what, we're gonna give you an Eevee as a starter. I guess because you can kind of choose which element you want to. So it's like it's got that same kind of starting decision that you get from the beginning of the game, except it's lightning instead of grass.
Yeah.
But this also lets you pretty early on choose like Umbreon or Espeon as well. So I wanted to ask you, John, what is your favorite evolution?
Ooh. So original, it was always Flareon. Oh, I see what you got.
I've got a little Jolteon here. I love the Jolteon. I also really like Leafeon.
Leafeon's pretty cool. But yeah, it was always Flareon, and then when I moved into Silver and Gold, it was Umbreon.
Yeah,
was my choice. Yeah. So that kind of clicks with, or that checks the box on me clearly. I do like my fire type stuff and my darkness. So, yeah, I mean, for me, this game, it was like I was playing a Nintendo Switch game, Ryan. That's the quality of it. It was fantastic. It was like no different than playing a Nintendo Switch game. So yeah, no, it was actually graphically, it was actually pretty good. I was playing on that old TV that you gave me, and it looked pretty good on there. I didn't have any issues with it on that. I hear Ein in the background.
Yeah, him and the cat get into it sometimes.
Oh yeah, those Pokemon running around your house. So yeah, we got to go in Pokemon names from now on. So yeah, graphically it looked good. I felt that the game controlled really well. The music was good, and the scenery was nice as well within the title. So I mean, you've already kind of gone into all the main components, so I'm not going to go in that. I'm just going to provide my general feedback on the vibe of the title. But the one thing that's always missing for me as it pertains to anything Nintendo related during that era, it's voice acting. Like that's the thing that I always feel like voice acting would be the one thing to take Pokemon to the next level, and they never deliver on that. It's always
like in a world where everything says its name.
Yeah,
Pikachu's the only one. Pikachu's the only one you ever hear.
Yeah, like
outside of the anime.
You could give us the Pokemon. Instead, we got like the Game Boy sounds when you interact with a Pokemon. I'm like,
I know,
ridiculous.
like you just like go up to this 3D Blissey, and it's like,
yeah,
it's sending you a fax.
Yeah, there was like what's his name? Like the Pinecone one. I forget his name, but like
Pineco.
Yeah, Pineco. Go up to him and he makes like some weird sound. I'm like, what the hell? Like, come on. Like the budget wasn't that big enough for a Pokemon game to do this. So I really do wish, like, it's okay to have like text-based dialogue in a lot of titles, but at least give your main characters audio. Like that's always something that stings for me, and I will never stop complaining about it till it actually happens in a game. Yeah, like I said, graphically it looked great. Game controls really well. I definitely do appreciate the approach of a game with the story in comparison to like your standard Pokemon game. It just, I don't know, the vibe felt very different playing this compared to other Pokemon titles. Really felt like it felt like an actual story that I was going into. It didn't just feel like I'm a kid from a town and I'm catching Pokemon.
Yep, here you go. Don't worry, people will talk to you sometimes, and there's a rival out there who will whoop your ass if you're not ready when you come into town.
Yeah, pretty wicked. He's always going to be a couple levels higher than you, no matter what you do.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what else I might have missed, but I mean, you covered the bulk of it. I mean, it's
so let's get into the pricing here.
Did you find a Pokemon console? What the price was on that?
I just looked up the console.
Okay, you do this. I'll price charting, or I'll eBay that while you go into it. Brass tacks, yeah.
So complete in box will run you $206.57 today. That peaked at $227.50 back in March of 2024. That is currently trending down. A loose copy run you $149.73. That peaked at $175.52 back in February 2025. And that's trending up right now. So that peaked real recently. I think somebody just kind of overpaid, and then now it's kind of setting itself back. But this is up there. Like we said, we're playing some of the most expensive GameCube games this week, and this is one that I could see being a really high desired game. Like if you're going back through and you're like, I want to get a GameCube and I want to buy a bunch of awesome GameCube games. I mean, this game didn't really have like the best reception, but it's a Pokemon game on the GameCube. Like that's a pretty compelling pull for a Nintendo person. Anybody who's ever played Pokemon, that's a price, man. That's a price that you're going to be like, oh man, like I could get 3 other good games probably for that price.
Well, and I think Pokemon Coliseum is up there as well. Let me see. Pokemon Coliseum GameCube. Yeah, even that one, like 100 and complete in box, $175 for that. Somebody bought a loose one disc only for $239. So yeah, that game's up there too. Oh, I see what it is. You know what I have? I have the bonus disc, and that's dumb. That bonus disc is just a preview of the game, I think, for Pokemon Coliseum, and it's $250 on that alone for the most recent sale. Actually, several recent sales. Heck, even the insert is $28 on this thing, dude. Like, this is stupid. This is stupid pricing. This is just Nintendo GameCube pricing, and people paying an arm and a leg to get it. So, in my view, obviously, and I think the view of many, this game is definitely inflated. But unless it's on the Nintendo Switch Online service, it's really the only way you can play it, right? So, I mean, what do we factor that into this? Do we know if it's going to be on NSO?
I don't know, because there's no other Pokemon games on NSO, are there?
I don't remember. I mean, I don't have NSO, so I'm not sure.
Let me look up here.
So if it's not on NSO, I mean, it's an inflated game, but if you really want to play this game, I guess that's what you got to do, right? Other than other alternate means that we will not go into detail on.
Let's see here.
The awkward silence of the podcast starts now.
I know. I'm trying to look through. I found the trailer for.
Oh,
yeah, it is coming. It is going to be on NSO.
Okay, well, there you go. Play it on NSO because it's not.
Oh, and Coliseum.
Nice. So those games will probably take a dip in price here pretty soon.
I think this is a Japanese trailer. I wonder if it's going to be. It's got to be on the one here too, right?
It probably will be. And
yeah, Coliseum and XDR coming to Switch 2. It says right here. Cool.
There
so yeah, you'll get a better way to play it. But if you want to own it, it's real expensive.
Yeah,
it's inflated.
Yeah, but all of our games for GameCube are going to be inflated this month. Well, the next 4.
Welcome to Inflation Month. All inflation all the time.
Yeah. We're talking tariffs all the time. We're talking inflation. We're talking GameCube. It's all the same. All the same. Very expensive. All right. So next week, we're going to review eggs. Is the price of a dozen truly worth it? What are our next 2 games? I forgot.
The Cubivore.
Yes.
And some Zooth game or something, right?
No, it's the one with the coyote guy on the front, the skateboarding one. I'm terrible with GameCube games. GameCube expensive games. Oh man. I don't remember. Somebody out there will know. Oh, it's on here. It is on this list. Let's see. Pokemon Coliseum, Disney Sports, Pokemon Box. It's not that one. Where is it? Okay, so Cubivore was one. Oh, Go Hyper Grind. That's the other one we're playing.
Go Hyper Grind.
Yeah,
yeah. I was never going to remember that.
Yeah, this is $804.
Oh my god!
It is not. It is $443 complete in boxes. $805 new. I hate those. Sometimes these websites are like the most expensive game, and it's like a Zelda variant cover that is the new price, and it's graded. Like
most expensive console ever.
Yeah. Here's something interesting. This person paid $805. A graded version was about $1,200. Could you hypothetically buy new copies, grade them, and sell them at a profit?
I mean, I think that's what you do. I think that's how you get it. The graded price comes from having undergone the graded process.
You take a risk, right? If it doesn't grade high, then you're kind of screwed. So
risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, that's about it. Let's see. 1,500. What was this one? This one had to have been. Nope, it's not even there anymore. Yep. I don't know. The graded game area is kind of, I don't know. I think it's kind of few and far between in terms of
well, it's kind of scammy. We talked about that in the past.
Yeah, we have. I think Will's probably listening right now, and I'll tell him you're involved in scams if you're great at games. I think he has like one graded game, if I recall, but the dude doesn't open anything, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like opening his video games. He'll call me out on a text message here after we're done. All right, well, those are our next few games. Until then, this has been episode 341. Yeah, 341 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John.
I'm Ryan.
And thanks for listening.